from his family.
Was out on the field pretty much the whole entire first half.
Got a lot of great games. I'm highlighting 2 SEC games.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Mayhem Matthew. This is the Touchdowns live stream, supersized show before Super Bowl Sunday. If you like the content, please smash the thumbs up. And if you really like the content, hit the subscribe button because we're on our way. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers, and Ballard is on his way to being great. He's already over 1,000 subscribers. He's probably working his way up to 2,000 subscribers at this point. So please hit the subscribe button. We love everybody that's coming in and joining us today or tonight. We have a jam-packed show, and we're going to start it off with some kind of sad news or bad news, or however you want to take the news. We're going to start off with that, and then we're going to get right on in to some interesting news, and then we're going to preview and predict the Super Bowl this Sunday, and we're going to have ourselves a good time. So please, if you're joining the stream right now, make sure you stay live with us in the comment section. Make sure you're engaging with us because that's what makes the content just that much more greater. If you disagree with us, if you agree with us, if you hate us, if you like us, let us know down in the comment section because that's what we're here for. Ballard, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You want to yell tonight?
Let's go.
I'm pumped up, man. I'm ready for it. Let's just be honest, we got a crap ton to talk about, man. We got Super Bowl Sunday coming up. We had the NFL awards show, Snoop Dogg Double G in the Hizzle hosting the show. So, yeah, we had a lot of good stuff that happened this week, some stuff coming up, and stuff to talk about, man. Let's get it going.
Yeah, so make sure whenever you're out and about, make sure you drink some water. This stream is not sponsored by water, but make sure you are staying hydrated and drinking your H2O. All right, let's get started with the news that broke a couple of days ago. But anywho, I don't pride myself on trying to get the news out first. I pride myself on getting the best content. Okay, the best bang for your buck. So with that being said, LSU's Brian Kelly, he has been this is coming from ESPN. In an interview on Good Morning America on Monday, Greg Brooks Sr. said his family has not heard from Kelly or anyone on LSU's coaching staff since shortly after the surgery. So if you don't know if you don't know what has been happening, a lawsuit was filed in August against LSU and Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center in Baton Rouge. Brooks Jr., which is a football player for the LSU Tigers, accused the Tigers coaching staff of encouraging him to practice after he showed symptoms in practice that something was wrong. He alleged that team athletic trainers misdiagnosed his condition for weeks and waited too long to send him to a neurological specialist. Brooks Jr., a team captain who transferred to LSU from Arkansas, played in 2 games in 2023 before doctors discovered a brain tumor. So, doctors told Brooks Jr. that he's cancer-free after undergoing chemotherapy and radiation treatments. According to Good Morning America, During the interview, Brooks' father said he hadn't heard from LSU coaches during his son's recovery. And I quote, specifically Brian Kelly, end quote, Brooks Sr. said. My son almost lost his life. Coach, where are you? Forget about football. Pick up the phone and say you love the kid, man. Kelly has denied the accusation on Wednesday. And then Brian Kelly released a statement and said, and I quote, there's many things I can't say because it is pending litigation, but here's what I can tell you. It is factually incorrect to state that I was not there by Greg's side through this ordeal on multiple occasions. He also said, I had somebody from my staff that was there virtually every single day. He also quoted, he also stated, and I quote, we love Greg. We love him for the person that he is, for the competitor he is, and the battler that he is. We only wish him continued progress as he goes through this incredibly difficult time. So that's pretty much that, okay? I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts, and then I'm going to let Ballard, take the reins on this. But obviously, all this is allegations, okay? That's the first thing we have to say. All this is allegedly. We don't know what's true and what's not true. We don't know how much Brian Kelly has spoken to the Brooks family. We don't know how much each side had contact with each other. And, we don't know what's true and what's not true, right? But, if Brian Kelly, from what I just read, it seems like that Brian Kelly, according to Mr. Brooks Sr., apparently Brian Kelly has had no contact with his son, right? That's, what I got from it. And then Brian Kelly went on to say that, yes, he has been in contact, and one of his staffers has had contact pretty much every single day. We don't know what's true and what's not true, but hopefully, he gets what he deserves, and hopefully Brian Kelly, if the allegations are true, I hope that Brian Kelly learns from his mistakes, and I hope that he can learn from this, and if there is a next time that something happens like this, that Brian Kelly can be more involved with his players. If this is not true, then, if this allegations are not true, I just hope that the son, Mr. Brooks Jr., can get all the help that he needs in order to have a 100% recovery from this. And I hope that, if this is false allegations made by the father of Brooks Sr., hopefully that it was just a big misunderstanding, because I would hate for it to come out that Kelly actually did have a lot of contact with Brooks Jr. I would hate for that to happen with the family, because, that family is going through a lot, Ballard. They're going through a lot, and I'm going to be the first one, I'll be the first one to say prayers for the Brooks family, Mr. Brooks Jr., hopefully he has a 100% recovery from this. I don't, I would not wish this upon my biggest enemy. Having a brain tumor has got to be probably one of the worst feelings of all time. I've never had one, so I can't speak on that. But it's got to be one of the worst feelings of all time to feel, because you it's got to hurt like crap, and it's got to it's got to be terrible, man, for the son, man. It's just, and for the whole family. They thought he might pass away with this. This is serious. This is a very serious situation, and I'm trying my best to give the correct information out that I can. Obviously, we don't know anything else than what has been reported on ESPN and other websites, but like I said, I'll say this one more time, just in case you didn't understand me. If Brian Kelly, I'll just say this: if Brian Kelly did not have the right amount of contact or any contact to the Brooks family or the son, Brooks Jr., hopefully he can learn from this mistake that he'd had, and he can get better as a coach, as a person, and he can focus on helping his players and being there for his players. Like I said, if this is false allegations and it comes to fruition that Mr. Kelly, Brian Kelly, has had a ton of contact with the Brooks family and Mr. Brooks Jr., I just hope that it was a big misunderstanding, because, I hope it was just one big misunderstanding, and that both parties can, come together and figure things out. And, the number one thing that they need to figure out right now is how to get Mr. Brooks Jr. 100% healthy and on his way to living a wonderful, beautiful life.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation. I mean, our thoughts and prayers go out to Greg Brooks and his family. It's tough to go through all that, especially at his age. He's like 20, 21 years old. He's in college. He's wanting a future in football. He's a great athlete. As far as the Brian Kelly side of things, he came out and said this, and I'm going to quote from an article here on what he said. And I get this actually from On3, so I'm sure it's a reliable source. But he had this to say. He said, there's many things I can't say because it is pending litigation, obviously, but here's what I can tell you. It is factually incorrect to state that I was not there by Greg's side through this ordeal. I was there on multiple occasions. We had somebody from my staff that was there virtually every single day. We love Greg. We love him for the person that he is, for the competitor that he is, and the battler that he is, and can only wish him continued progress as he goes through an incredibly difficult time. It was important for me to set the record clear as to my care, my love for Greg Jr. during this very difficult time. That was Brian Kelly on what, that was basically his defense. So you have this situation where Greg Brooks has this, how do you want to put it, man? I mean, is it illness, or he has this going on, but
A brain tumor.
brain tumor, that's it. Yeah. So he has this, and it's very difficult. I've never been there. I could only imagine the pain that he's going through and how it's affecting him mentally, emotionally, maybe physically. I don't know. Our thoughts and prayers are with him. You had Coach Kelly come out and say that he was there. But then you also have that it's just all over the place, man. And you see this all the time where allegations are made in football and a coach says one thing and a player says another. Well, Greg Brooks Jr. says, well, no, Coach K wasn't, Brian Kelly wasn't there for me. And then Brian Kelly comes out, he says, I was there every single day for them, and we took good care of them. You don't know, like, what's going on. Without cussing, I'm gonna quote Cat Williams. You don't know what to believe.
Yeah,
So I
I mean,
just
I do have a question for you, Ballard. Right?
okay.
So I don't know how else to put this. I'm just going to say it, and hopefully, y'all understand what I'm trying to ask. But like, let's just say LSU did not go 8-4, right? Let's just say they won the SEC championship. They made it to the playoffs. They won a couple of games in the playoffs. My question to you, Ballard, would be, would this kind of be swept under a rug, or would this still have came out? I mean, I want to know your thoughts on that.
Are you suggesting that it only came out because they didn't have the success they were hoping for? Or
No,
it's
I'm not
possible that's
suggest.
the case? Or wait, what are you asking?
I'm not suggest. I am not. Let me be clear. I am not suggesting. Not suggesting that this only came out because they went 8-4. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, you know, I'm gonna give you an example, and I'm gonna stick with LSU here. So with the whole Ed Orgeron thing, right?
Mhm.
He won a national championship, and then maybe a year or two later, he only won. I think it was during the COVID year. He only won like 5 games. He went 5-5, and then he got fired, right?
Yeah.
But after that 5-5 season, things started coming out with him talking to college girls and cheating on his wife, and it led to his wife end up getting a divorce from him, and then he gets fired from LSU, right? Because whenever he was having a lot of success, none of that stuff really came out about Coach Ed Orgeron until started losing some games. I'm not suggesting that that's what's happening here with Brian Kelly. I just want to get your thoughts on it in general. Like, does that play a role? Does LSU going 8-4, having a very down year, because I thought they would at least go to SEC championship this year. They had a stacked roster. Does that play anything? Does that play a role into when I think the news was going to break regardless, right? I think this news was going to happen regardless. But do you think the news breaking now when it did, do you think that played a role with maybe, Brian Kelly not having such a great year with such a talented roster? I mean,
I
I don't.
see what you're saying. I think that's possible. I mean, because all we know, like, let's play hypothetical first for a minute. Let's say if LSU had hit their potential this year, like, I think some people said, oh, they lost Jaden Daniels, they lost so and so, but they're going to bring these guys back. What if they make the playoffs and stuff? Well, what if? What if they make the playoffs? What if they're a playoff team, Mayhem? Are you suggesting, like, would this news have come out sooner rather than later, or later rather than sooner? It's
That's what
possible. It's
that's
possible it could have been
that
swept under
is
the rug, or yeah,
that is what I'm asking. I'm asking.
yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm not suggesting that they made this story up. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. Okay.
You're just saying the timing of it.
Yeah, I just want to know. Had they made the playoffs, made the SEC championship, would this story have been kept a secret until later on, or would this story still would have came out whenever it did? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where we just would never know. I mean, I think it's a developing story because I think that there's probably more to this that might come out on this end because I think it's still brewing a little bit.
And
But to your point, I don't think I don't know if we'll ever actually know that side.
yeah, I mean, there's two sides to every story.
Of course.
Brian Kelly saying that he had plenty of contact with him, and Greg Brooks Jr. and Sr. are saying, you didn't even give me a phone call. I mean, so right now, we don't know which side is true. Now, I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. If Greg Brooks Sr., the father of this football player, came out and made this type of accusations, these type of allegations against Brian Kelly, and they came out to be false, either A, this is a huge misunderstanding, and hopefully everything can be all right after this, or this is just a really bad look on the father, right? If this comes out to be false allegations, if Brian Kelly pulls up receipts, if he says, look at these phone calls, look at these text messages, I've been keeping up with him a lot. Hopefully, the father will say, well, this was just a big misunderstanding. I mean, it would just be a really bad look on the father because, I mean, whenever you make these type of allegations, serious allegations, especially about, with your son having a brain tumor and almost losing his life, and you're making these types of allegations, hopefully they are true, because I would not want to be the father if it comes out that these were false allegations made on Brian Kelly. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let me ask you this. If the allegations made by his parents are true about Brian Kelly, that, hey, like, let's say this comes out in a couple months or a week or two, or it might take a while, but let's say it comes out and the truth of it is that Brian Kelly told a blank face lie. Is there a situation, let me ask you this, where LSU can step in, or forget if they can? I mean, is his job at risk right now because of this situation, do you think? Or is it just a one-on-one with the family?
I would not say his job is at risk because of this particular situation. But if he goes on next year to have a 7-5 record, I'm sure they're going to use this to their advantage
As an excuse.
not to pay him his money. I mean, I'm sure that they can find something to fire him over against this, situation. And that's why I was asking earlier, just to be clear, that's why I was asking earlier, Ballard, had they made the SEC championship, went to the playoffs, even made it to the national championship, would this story have came out now, or would it come out later, right? So, I mean, I want to be 100% clear. I just feel like I'm stumbling on my words, and maybe some people get me the wrong way. I don't do good talking about these situations. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ballard. I'm not very good at talking about this stuff, but this is sports related, and I want to get out all the content that I can as far as sports related issues and stuff like that. But I'm not very good speaker whenever it comes to this type of stuff. Number one, we don't have enough information to say, hey, this person was right, this person was wrong. That's number one. We don't have enough information. Number two, I'm going to be honest, I want the Brooks family's story to be true. Because if it's not true, if these allegations are not true, and Brian Kelly had been making contact numerous of times, then it's going to be a very bad look on the father, especially with Greg Brooks Jr. going through a brain tumor, going through, surgery, and going through this rough, difficult time just for the father to make these said allegations against Brian Kelly, right? So hopefully the allegations that the parents are saying is true. And for the Brooks family and for Greg Brooks Jr. himself, I want the Brooks family side of the story to be true because, I'd rather blame Brian Kelly. Hey, you should have been doing your job and, doing your job as a leader, as a coach. I would like to come on here and say, you need to do a better job, Brian Kelly. That's what I would like to come on here and say, rather than, man, this is a bad look for the father of Greg Brooks Jr. I would hate to come on here and tell everybody, hey, Brian Kelly pulled up receipts. These are false allegations. That was a bad look on Greg Brooks Sr. That was a really bad look. I would hate to say something like that, right? So I just want to make it all clear right now that I want Greg Brooks Jr. and Sr. and the Greg Brooks family, I want their side of the story to be true because it'll be a lot easier to point the fingers at Brian Kelly and say, hey, man, you need to do better. You need to be a better leader. You need to be a better coach. You need to be a better human being. Make the phone calls, do your job, and do what's best for your football team and your players and humans in general, right? So I don't want to talk about it anymore because I feel like I'm kind of chasing my tail, going back and forth, saying things over and over again. And I'm not a very good speaker whenever it comes to this stuff. But like I said, my final thoughts are I just hope that Greg Brooks Jr., whether these allegations are true or not true, I hope Greg Brooks Jr. has a 100% healthy recovery and that he goes on to live his life. If he still wants to play football, make it to the NFL, make millions of dollars, and have a successful career.
I would say everything you just said. I mean, I hope Greg Brooks has a speedy recovery. I hope that he can get back to playing football, and I hope that he can obviously have a future in football. As for Brian Kelly, I like Brian Kelly. I think he is a good head coach. He can recruit well. He can put the numbers on the table and win big time football games. And I think at some point he's going to win a championship for LSU. And people can argue that all day if they wanted to. But I think he's on the cusp of that here in the next 3 or 4 years. So I wish them both the best, and I hope that they can come to good terms at some point and kind of patch things up. But even if that doesn't happen, hopefully this doesn't blow up too much.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on. Let's turn the tables to a more brighter show. We had to start out with the bad news. Let's talk about some good things. You want to go ahead and hit us with the NFL honors?
Oh, yeah. So your boy Snoop Double G in the hizzle the other night with the NFL honors, and it was it's pretty good. I like some of these player of the year candidates, and some of these guys won much deserved awards. Jaden Daniels for the Commanders was offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Florida State player Jared Verse, who's a defensive edge for the Los Angeles Rams. Offensive player of the year, Saquon Barkley for the Eagles, much deserved, obviously. I mean, did you not see him hurdle a dude backwards a couple weeks ago? That's crazy. And then defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain the second, who went to Alabama for 3 years, been in the league for a couple years, is with the Broncos. MVP of the league, Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback. He's had a spectacular season. I thought he did really good. He got back to the AFC Championship game. What do you think? So the MVP is the coveted award of the NFL outside of Super Bowl. Do you think they're right for announcing it before the Super Bowl and the conference title games and stuff like that? Mayhem or I guess they kind of they announced it after the conference title games, after the Pro Bowl, but they announced it before the big championship game. So, do you agree with that sentiment of doing it that way? Because I think if we announce after the Super Bowl who MVP was, you're basically giving it to like Super Bowl MVP or the quarterback of your team who won the Super Bowl, and it's not as special or important.
Well, I mean, I think the award is given out whenever it should have been given out because, I mean, NFL MVP is just for the regular season. I mean, it's not for the Super Bowl. That's why they have a Super Bowl NFL MVP, right? I mean, they have a Super Bowl MVP and they have an NFL MVP, one for the regular season, one for the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I do think what you're asking me, yeah, I do think they're giving it out at the right time. Let's go back. Before we get into that, I do want you to say the winners one more time. I want to tell you if I agree or disagree with these winners. So offense, you said offensive rookie of the year is Jaden Daniels, right?
Of the Commander. Yeah. So here's what we got. We have the offensive rookie is Jaden Daniels of the Commanders, the quarterback. Obviously made the playoffs. Go ahead.
So I 100% agree with that. He was, and it's not even close as everybody else says. He should have 100% won this award. It was much deserving. It 100,000% goes to Jaden Daniels. So, I mean, I could probably pull up some stats and read them, but, you know, this guy, and, you know, I've watched a lot of NFL this year. I want to talk about it more on my channel, but the Commanders, it seems like they were pulling wins out of their literal butt crack. They were literally pulling crap out of their butt to win games. And it all came off of the back of Mr. Jaden Daniels. And so he put that offense on his back and won games. And whenever you look at these games and say, man, how did they win that? You look at the quarterback, you look at Jaden Daniels, and you say, that is why they won them games. He is the reason why they were in conference championship. Yeah, they didn't do too well versus the Eagles, but it's the Eagles. Come on. But they had a tremendous season. They overachieved with a rookie quarterback, and it is 100% deserved. Jaden Daniels gets offensive rookie of the year. It's 100% deserved. Who's next?
Well, I would say that I think it is much deserved for Jaden Daniels to win this award. He led in rushing and passing in the regular and postseason games. Thanks a lot, Jaden Daniels, for beating my Buccaneers too. That helps. I just think that the defense and everything came together for Washington this year. this is a team that's been struggling for a little while, and to get as far as they did to the NFC title game against the Eagles, that should mean a lot to them. I'm sure it does, but I think it should mean a lot to NFL fans everywhere. So shout out Jaden Daniels, offensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie of the year, Jared Verse from Florida State for the Rams on defense.
So I'm gonna send a message to Jared Verse. I know he's
Okay.
not going to see this video, and if he does, I hope he comments. But sir, look at me. Yeah, look at me. So if you would have played against the Georgia Bulldogs instead of quit, maybe Georgia wouldn't have won 63-3. We still would have won, but that's why you don't quit on your team. Yeah, you won the defensive rookie of the year, and guess what? It is much deserved to you, sir. You know, the only rookie on defense that I've ever heard of this season making a lot of noise was Jared Verse, and you got to give him all the props. You got to give him all the props. He absolutely smashed it. Okay, you know that Rams defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL, and he's on it, and he did a tremendous job. So shout out to Jared Verse. I still don't like you quitting on Florida State. Still don't like it. Do better. Congratulations though, but do better.
Yeah. No, the award's much deserved, but I agree about him quitting on Florida State and all that. But no, it's cool to see. I mean, Jared Verse has had a lot of good positivity and just comments from others on his team that has stuck out. I mean, Byron Young is a defensive back for the Rams, and he commented and said he's like the battery to our group, and it's everything like the energy that he brings. So I think that he's had a great season. Jared Verse, a superstar for the Rams. Is he the best in the league? He's probably the best rookie defensively, obviously, and I think he had one of the better seasons as a rookie than anybody else on defense. So I give him props for that. I don't think this was like, oh, it was snubbed from anybody else. I give him credit there. So
Yeah, I think this was.
yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say this. I think anybody that watched NFL this season, Jared Verse 100% deserves the award.
Yeah,
but guess what? Guess what, bro? I'm gonna say this one time, okay? He still also deserves all this smack talk that I'm gonna give him because Georgia whipped Florida State's behind 63-3. Thank you, but congratulations, though.
Florida State will never recover. Offensive Player of the Year goes to the one and only Sir Saquon Barkley of the Eagles.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Who's disputing that?
I have no comment other than I love it, and I think that it is accurate. I mean,
guess what?
He literally. Did you see the play where he hurdled a man backwards?
Yes. And
my gosh!
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this too. I'm gonna say this in this message. I'm sending messages out today, Ballard. This message goes out to the Eagles head coach or whoever decided to sit Saquon Barkley because he could have beat a 40-something-year-old rushing record.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it's still held by Eric Dickerson.
Did he not choose to sit down himself? No, they benched him?
Yes.
Why?
Because the whole we don't want players to get hurt for the playoffs deal. We want to win a Super Bowl.
Boo-hoo.
And guess what? his last game was against the Giants, a team that didn't even want him. If I was the head coach, I would have said, boy, go out there and get them 100 yards. Boy, go out there and do it. Bro, I hate this mentality that, we're going to get injured. If you're so worried about getting injured, go work at Walmart. You're playing football. That's what football causes. Football does cause injuries. Yeah, we lost Ballard. He went away, but dude, like, I'm serious. I'm serious, Ballard. I'm serious, guys. This is a contact sport. If you're worried about getting injured, how about you just sit out week 1 through week 17 and then just play in the postseason? Why are you doing this?
Injured. If you don't want to get injured, go try ballet.
Dude, go put some fries in the bag at McDonald's.
He said go work at Walmart.
Dude, this is stupid. I want to see the best play against the best. I want to see Saquon Barkley go down the field and beat Eric Dickerson's record. That was a 40-something-year-old record that will never be beaten again. Never! All because of this Eagles coach or whoever
Nick Sirianni. I think it was Sirianni, the head coach.
Listen to me, Sirianni. Come closer. Yeah, come closer. You better win the Super Bowl. You better win the Super Bowl. Because if you don't win the Super Bowl, if you don't win the Super Bowl, I'm not going to forgive that. I'm not. And you should be fired too. I don't care if you made it to the Super Bowl. Guess what? Second place is the first loser. You need to win it, or hey, I would be firing you. I will make a video saying fire Sirianni, because after you did not give him what he deserved, and you're going to do that to him just to be second place, just to be the first loser. No, I'm not accepting.
Well, at least Saquon was offensive player of the year, I guess. And I mean, look, dude, I agree. I kind of like, unless Saquon wanted to sit out, but I just don't see that being his mentality.
I mean, Saquon was in an interview and he said that he told his coach that he was going to sleep on it, let him know after he talked to his family and everything what he wanted to do. At first he said, hey, coach, I'll do whatever you want to do, whatever's best for the team. But then whenever he woke up and he thought about it, he said, yeah, it would be nice to go catch that record. That's what he said. And whenever he was talking, I felt in the way that he was talking that, yeah, he did want to go out and play. He's a football player. Football players want to play football. I mean, what is this sitting out mess? I mean, they sit out in college football. They don't want to get hurt for the NFL draft. What if Saquon Barkley would have gotten injured in the first round of the playoffs? Then what? So you're going to have to sit him out up until the Super Bowl? Is that what we're going to start doing from now on?
I'll tell you this. You don't have a run game if you sit him out, so I don't know if they make it to the Super Bowl, to be honest.
I mean, what if he would have been doing an interview and then a piano fell on top of his head and he was injured? Then what?
I don't know. I mean,
play football, bro. Play football. But anyways, let's go up to the next award. That was 100% much deserved because he did get that award, but he did not get the award of having the NFL record for the most rushing yards in history in one season. But, I don't know. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay. I don't even know how he got this one, but I like him. He was a former Alabama player, but apparently, according to sources, Defensive Player of the Year was Patrick Surtain, the second of the Broncos. This is a guy that had, well, let me see something. He keeps pulling up. I'm trying to read his stats. Never mind. It is much deserved. I get it. So he had 4 picks. I was fixing to say, but it automatically puts it in postseason mode. He did nothing in the postseason, but regular season getting back on track. This Broncos defense is something special, and it starts with Patrick Surtain, the second. He had 45 total tackles, no sacks, 11 passes defended, 4 picks. One of them was a pick six. He did force and recover a fumble. No touchdowns on that. But it's, I think he's good. I think Pat Surtain has been working his tail off since he came in from Alabama. He played 16 out of 17 games. So 34 tackles on his own, 11 were assists for 45 total tackles. I don't know if he's personally, I don't know if he's the best defensive player they have, but I think that he just plays in such a way, regardless of what it says on paper, that he has made a case and looked okay in the playoffs too for the Broncos that he should be in consideration for defensive MVP. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think the award was much deserved. Now there is a couple of players that I'll go ahead and say. T.J. Watts of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he would have won this, it would have also been much deserved. And Cleveland Browns Myles Garrett. And I thought he had an outstanding year as well. There are a couple of guys that I look at and say if they would have won this award, I wouldn't have been mad about it. But give credit to Patrick Surtain for winning this award, much deserved.
Yeah, I could even throw in some guys for the Bucks. Kalijah Cansey, a rookie out of Pittsburgh, had 7.5 sacks. Yaya Diaby, 4.5 sacks for 34 yards. But Lavonte David, man, this dude is closer to the end of his career than he is the beginning of his career. This guy has stayed healthy. He's got a pick this year. He's had 9 tackles for loss. He's forced 3 fumbles. He hits hard. He's gotten better every single year with the Bucks. So I just got to shout my team out, some of my guys, and give them credit. I give it to Pat Surtain for winning it, but at the same time, if I had to pick someone off of my team, give it to Lavonte David. Let him have it. Anyway, MVP. Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, the most prestigious player award, most valuable player, Josh Allen for the Bills. What do you say?
I'm gonna just say this, right? I think that a couple of people could have won this award, and it would have been much deserved. But that wasn't my MVP for this season. My MVP was Lamar Jackson. I really wanted Lamar Jackson to win his, I believe, the 3rd MVP. He had 4,172 yards, which was 6th. And then he had 41 total touchdowns, which was tied 2nd. He only had 4 interceptions, and his QBR was 2nd in the NFL with 77.2. I mean, if we take a look, let me see stats. His rushing stats, he had almost 1,000 yards rushing as a quarterback. He had 915 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns. I mean, Lamar Jackson is him, man. Lamar Jackson is 100% him. I would have had him as my MVP, but give credit to Josh Allen. You know, he's had a great season as well. Could have thrown some other guys in there as well, but I mean, I think it really came down to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I would have personally chose Lamar Jackson to win his third.
Absolutely, and it's I think one stat that stood out for Josh Allen was he had the league QBR at 77.3. He had in the regular season 28 touchdowns, 6 INTs, and over 3,000 yards. Now, none of those are even anywhere close to first, but I don't know, tied seventh at 28 touchdowns. So, okay. But QBR really matters, and that's the completion. It's, excuse me, it's like everything. It really is. And he's been working for this one. He really has. And I just want to see, by the grace of God, let him make a Super Bowl. KC, what are y'all doing, man? Like, give him some grace. Nobody wants a three-peat. I'm tired of it. Jalen's going to win for the Eagles on Sunday, and I'm telling you that straight up. Anyway, but much deserved MVP award for Josh Allen and the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw in another guy that maybe you could have said that he deserved the MVP. Derrick Henry. I'll throw him in there. He's a,
Yes.
he's a running back. He had a great season. Is I will ask you this question. So, um, do you think that the days of running backs winning MVP are pretty much gone?
It could be, but at the same time, I mean, we've said that about, the Heisman Trophy being a quarterback award, and look at 2020 with Devontae Smith. So I think you just have to play your cards right as a running back. I think if the Ravens build up next season to help their O line a little bit for not only Lamar Jackson, but for the run game of Derrick Henry, and they give him the ball more, like, you gotta trust him with it, and I felt like at times they didn't trust him with it this year. I mean, he still ran the ball very well when he had it, but it wasn't like every single it not like every play, but it seemed like they still wanted to run the show with Lamar Jackson, and I get that. He's that quarterback, right? He can take off running, he can throw the long ball, he can do all of that. But build in the trenches a little bit, boost up the O-line, give it to Henry and let him take control of your offense. And I'm sure someday, maybe next year or so, you could see a winning MVP.
All right, for sure. All right, what's next?
That also being said, before we watch Snoop's monologue, Vikings Kevin O'Connell won Coach of the Year, and they finished 14-3 after being one of the teams projected to have the number one pick in the offseason. They were projected to finish last in their division. They were supposed to be a team to draft a quarterback and everything. And then all of a sudden, they just kind of flipped a switch. And I credit them. I think that the Vikings had a very good season and they finished second in the NFC North, 14-3 overall. This is a team with Sam Darnold at quarterback. Cam Akers comes in from the Rams uh, at running back. Justin Jefferson at wide receiver. I mean, they just have dudes. TJ Hawkinson. They had all of these guys, but at the same time, there was a lot of doubt and question marks for the Vikings. But credit to Coach of the Year Kevin O'Connell for getting this team to 14-3 after what everyone thought would be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year.
For sure. But you want to go ahead and get to Snoop Dogg's monologue?
Let's do it. I'm gonna mute myself and play it. This, by the way, this is from NFL on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Gotta give a shout out to Paul Merkovich and my band, the Snooperdelics. Hello. Welcome to the NFL Honors. I am, of course, your host with the most, Big Snoop D-O-double-G. And it is an honor to be here at my 900th event that I'll be hosting this afternoon. Is anybody excited for the big game on Sunday? Look, I know I'm excited. This is an incredible Super Bowl matchup between the Eagles and the refs. We're in New Orleans tonight, aka the Big Easy. Yeah, the Big Easy is what Patrick Mahomes nicknamed the AFC. Hey, that's what he did, not me. The Chiefs have a chance to repeat for the first time in NFL history. And the Eagles have the chance to be liked by the rest of America, also for the first time in history. Now, to be real, I like the Eagles' chances. Saquon Barkley, he is a beast, straight dog. Now, if Saquon Barkley was playing in the Snoopy Football League, I'd probably make him skip a few age groups because he'd be bouncing off foes like he can grow a mustache. Now, tonight we're going to be giving away a whole lot of big awards. The battle for MVP this year seems too close to call, which is a surprise. Because usually when there's a fight between guys named Lamar, Saquon, and Josh, I don't give Josh much of a chance. But speaking of Josh, my guy Josh Allen is in the house. Bills Mafia. Hey, Josh. Damn, the Patrick Mahomes curse. But look, don't worry, Josh. I know some people that know some people that got to hook up with the man in stripes. So holler at me, and I'll take care of you. My guy Sam Darnold is in the house tonight. SC, where? Sam. Look, you had an incredible year. It just shows that all you need to succeed is hard work, determination, and getting the hell away from them Jets. My boy, All-Pro podcaster Micah Parsons is in the house. Now, Micah is allowed to say whatever he wants to say on this podcast because Jerry Jones keeps trying to find it at the record store. Detroit is in the house. D-Town, what up, though? Jared Goff, Aiden Hutchinson. You see Jared and the Lions, they were so good this year. I almost changed my name back to Snoop Lion. I'm lying. Jaden Daniels is in the house. Where you at, Jaden? Look, Jaden Daniels is my wife's favorite player. I guess he looked like me or somebody in my family. I don't know, but I need to get a picture with you before we leave, nephew. Jaden, look, he's so chill that weed smokes him to relax. Jaden, let me tell you this, nephew. You were so good this year, the NFL had to finally tell your team about this award show. Welcome, Washington. Smoking Joe Burrow's in the house. Hey, Joe. Let me hear something. No, for real, let me hear something. Let me smoke that cigar with you. Only if I can get it. Now, let me skip this real quick. Joe is up for a ton of awards tonight, right? MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and most likely to get invited to the cookout. Now, last year, Joe bought a tumbler Batmobile for $2.9 million. Damn. falling. I mean, it has everything. Jet propulsion, grappling hook, spikes. I guess he wanted one thing in life: to have a good defense. Look here, man.
This is too good.
It is an honor to be hosting this because I've been a football fan for a long time. I mean, I remember back when the Cowboys was good. I remember back when the Chiefs was bad. And I remember, what was it? Bill Belichick's girlfriend wasn't even born yet. Is anybody ready to have a good time tonight? Check this out. When I say choose, you say love. Choose. Choose. Presenting our first award, please welcome the 2014 Offensive Rookie of the Year, Odell Beckham Jr. and Shabuzi.
Oh man. That's good stuff, Snoop. You're muted. You're muted.
I will comment on the Bill Belichick's girlfriend deal. I'm gonna comment on that. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
I'm older than Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
You are?
I am. I'm 26 years old. Bill Belichick is dating a 24-year-old.
I hope that she dumps him real quick because I'm still single.
24-year-old. The girlfriend, her name is Jordan Hudson.
Oh yeah. I've
Yep.
heard that name. Because I've read up on this. It's just been a few months. He'd been dating her for 4 months, 2 months or something weird, man. It's so sketchy. Like now he's in Chapel Hill. Anyway, that was a good monologue. Steve Harvey's done the monologue for the NFL honors the past couple years, and he's done a good job. But Snoop Dogg really brought it, I thought. So
Yep, for
anyway,
sure.
you ready to there's really not much I had on that other than just showing you, but we got to talk about it. What is the deal, Mayhem, with this color conspiracy?
It's not a conspiracy. I think the two best teams are in the Super Bowl right now. I don't think there really is a conspiracy. Next year, the Super Bowl logo is blue. I mean, does that mean it's going to be the Lions versus Cowboys, or is that going to be no? Does that mean Lions versus what, Colts? I mean, it's all blue. So I mean, are we going to get the Lions from the NFC and the Colts from the AFC? Is that it? Right?
Maybe.
Are we going to get Cowboys versus Colts? I mean, it's more like a Lions type of color. Are we going to get the Lions in the Super Bowl next year? I mean, a lot of people thought they were going to this Super Bowl, so no, I don't see any color conspiracy with that.
Yeah, I think I mean it's fun to laugh at and think about, but like it's fake. I mean, like we had last year's logo what had some purple. And they said, "Oh, well, it'll be the Ravens from the AFC." Well, it wasn't. The Chiefs won the AFC and went back to back over the 49ers. What other team is purple? I'm actually being on. I can't. I think it's just the Ravens, right? Like, so if it was based on color conspiracy, the Ravens would have been in it last year. Like you can't have a conspiracy theory and it not happen all the time. Something like this would have to happen every single year, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, I think last year, what was the colors last? The
It
purple.
was like purple and red.
So the purple was supposed to represent Taylor Swift, if I'm not mistaken,
Of course.
like a purple dress to these conspiracy theorists. But like I said, I don't think the color conspiracy is real. A lot of people believe that the NFL is rigged. That's a whole different conversation for a different day. We can get into that on the next episode. We can, after the Super Bowl is won, we can find out if it's rigged or not rigged.
Yeah. Another example, I go back 2 years ago when the Eagles and Chiefs played. That logo, they said the blue was for the Eagles almost, and that red was for Kansas City. Um, I guess on the outer edge of that Eagle logo, you can kind of see some blue, so I could get that. But again, I'm not. I mean, and Super Bowl 56 the year before, it was like yellow and orange or orange and blue or something. I don't know, but we ended up with the Rams and the Bengals. Great game, best halftime show of all time in that Super Bowl. But again, I don't believe in the color conspiracy theory when it comes to Super Bowls. I think if teams are good enough, they're going to get to the playoffs. What happens after they get to the playoffs is up to the referees and Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, do you think there is any conspiracy in NFL or football in general?
Um, I would say I don't know if it's conspiracy, but the whole thing about history repeats itself, even in sports. We've seen it happen, but also I like to believe that that's false because I say any given Saturday for college football, any given Sunday for NFL. If you want it bad enough as a football team and as a player, you'll go get it. I don't care who you are. If the Panthers want it bad enough, maybe they'll be in the Super Bowl next year. Maybe the Titans will be in there. I doubt it. But if you want it bad enough, you'll draft right, you'll coach right, you'll play right, and eventually you'll win games like you need to, and ultimately you'll be champions.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. I don't believe in any conspiracies in football. I don't, you know, I, there's too many reasons why I don't believe in conspiracies, especially like, let's just say take college football, for example. TCU made it to the national championship. Georgia beat them 65-7. Who wanted to see that? Ballard. Who wants to see 65-7 in a national championship?
Nobody.
It's not a conspiracy. The NFL, I'm sure, has had some blowouts in Super Bowls before. I'm sure. Who wants to see the Patriots versus the Rams and the final score be 10-3?
It was 13-3, but
3.
I would say because I love defenses, I thought it was a good game. But at the same time, the Rams had a pretty good offense that year that they just you know,
I mean,
they they should have done better.
there's a lot of things I can say. Like, I don't think there's no conspiracy. I think the two best teams are in there. And I think that you need to, if you're a fan of football in general, you need to respect what the Chiefs have done. They've done something, well, they will probably, I mean, it's not 100%, but I am predicting they're going to win. They're probably going to end up doing something that has never been done before in NFL history, and that is three-peating and winning back to back to back Super Bowls. So that's never been done before. And I mean, you just gotta see greatness. You gotta
Well, let
recognize.
me ask you this too. They're talking about, the Super Bowl on First Take today, and or sometime this week. Maybe it was like yesterday or something, but they're talking about it. And everyone wants to know where you put Patrick Mahomes. Is it too early to put him in the conversation in the likes of Tom Brady with the Super Bowl win on Sunday where he three-peats? Like, he's going to have 4 rings. He's going to have 3 in a row, all with the same team. Is it too early to put him in a category of his own? And, it's he's going to have 4 Super Bowls on Sunday if he wins. Now, he could lose, which I predict the Eagles are going to win. But at the same time, like, I got to get your thoughts on this. Like, where do we rank Patrick Mahomes right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
I think he's best in the league today, but I cannot
course.
put him in the conversation of all time.
I still have a hard time putting Pat Mahomes in front of Tom Brady.
All right.
And the reason why I say that is because Tom Brady beat Pat Mahomes in a playoff game in the playoffs, and
Not just a playoff game, by the way. What game was it, and who was it with?
well, they did. He did. It
Oh,
was
the AFC title. Yeah, that's right. But
he
then he
beat
did it again.
Patrick Mahomes with New England,
Yep.
and what you were going to say is he went to the other conference, the NFC,
Uh-huh.
and with your Tampa Bay Bucks,
Yeah.
he beat Patrick Mahomes with a different team,
In what game?
the Super Bowl.
Woo!
So I mean, yeah. So I just that's 2-0 against Patty Mahomes in the playoffs. I would
Plus,
rank him.
whoever won the regular season matchups too. I'm sure he won a couple of those.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Patty Mahomes won at least one. I think he won at least one against Tom Brady, at least.
He's got to be like 1-3, maybe.
But
They've met a few times.
what I'm trying to say is that I just have a hard time putting. Now, if he goes on to win back to back to back to back four-peat, he's definitely the greatest of all time. But right now, Tom Brady's been to 10 Super Bowls, won 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
He's 70% in Super Bowls. He lost 2 of them to Eli Manning, and then 1 of them to
The Eagles
the Eagles. Was it
and Nick Foles.
Nick
It
Foles?
was Super Bowl 52. It was the 2017-2018 season.
So, like, he's doing pretty good. Now, let's take a look at Patrick Mahomes' resume so far in his career. I mean, as a starter, he's made the playoffs every single year, and he's only lost. He lost the AFC Championship against Tom Brady, and then
Joe Burrow.
And then Joe Burrow. But outside of them losses, he made the Super Bowl every other year.
Yeah.
He's been to the Super Bowl 5 times. He's made the playoffs 7 times, and he's only been in the league, for 7 years now?
Yeah.
So he's a winner.
He's always done it too. The crazy thing is, even though he always has Travis Kelce by his side, like, for a little while, it seemed like that was the only go-to guy they had, and he still did it. And then they had gotten all these other receivers, and they helped him out. But also, when you watch a guy like Pat Mahomes, Mayhem, when you're watching a great quarterback. When you're watching a good quarterback, when you're watching a elite quarterback like Mahomes versus someone that's a game manager. Like, I'll even come out and admit, as much as I love Hurts, Jalen Hurts is not the Eagles' offense. Now, he's great, but he can't push his own tush by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But like Pat Mahomes is so weird with how he moves. Pat, Mah- Pat Mahomes could move on his own, like he just can.
Yeah. He can't
That was
push his
good. I
tush.
like that. He
That was
can't
good.
push his own tush.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You have some valid points. I'll
Yeah.
also say this. This might be a little hot take. Pat Mahomes made Travis Kelce who he is today.
Fair.
I mean,
I could see that.
before Pat Mahomes got in the league, Travis Kelce was in the league for 1 or 2 years?
Yeah, always with the Chiefs though, but with I don't even know. I know they had Alex Smith, but then
Yeah,
was
but
it right before? Was that
but,
right before
but
Mahomes?
we never heard
I
of
guess it
Travis
was.
Kelce's name until Pat
Mahomes came along.
Mahomes came along, and now Travis Kelce is one of the greatest tight ends of all time. He's not the greatest, but he's one of the greatest. But
Yeah.
I would like to mention that Pat Mahomes has elevated a lot of his players to the next level. And so give credit to Pat Mahomes for elevating his team to the highest level that of football, you know what I mean? And that shows great leadership, that shows that he's a winner, and that shows that, if you think Pat Mahomes is going to go away in the future, he's not. He's going to be here. He's going to be here to stay until either Coach Reed decides to retire, just the team around him falls apart. But he's only one guy. He can only do so much. I mean, take a Joe Burrow, for example. Joe Burrow does not really have a team around him, but Joe Burrow is absolutely killing it. But to answer your question, I don't want to put him as the greatest of all time. Not just yet, especially since we haven't even seen him win a three-peat yet. But if he does win the three-peat, I still will be kind of hesitant to put him as the greatest of all time, just because Tom Brady just has more rings and he's done it longer than Pat Mahomes, and he's beaten Pat Mahomes in the biggest stages. So I'm not ready to say quite yet, but if he keeps up this upwards trajectory, I will have to eventually call him the greatest of all time to ever play the game. But right now, he is the greatest athlete, football player that is playing right now, yes.
I would agree. Also, looking at this game, I gotta say, I think we should give score predictions tonight, Mayhem, and I think we should
Hold
just
on.
kind of.
Let me
Are we not? We're not there yet. I'm sorry.
let me set the stage.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go. Let's go.
This is our last topic of the night, and we're going to go ahead and get
Yeah.
on out of here. This is our last topic of the night, so let's set the stage here. The Chiefs are going up against the Eagles. The Eagles have a very tall task in beating the Chiefs. A lot of people are doubting the Eagles. A lot of people are believing that the Chiefs have the refs in their back pockets. There's a lot of people that believe that the NFL is scripted and the Chiefs have their destiny to go back to back to back. The Eagles, on the other hand, does not believe any of that. They have Jalen Hurts, a quarterback that was once played for the Alabama Crimson Tide, got benched, transferred to Oklahoma, and then got drafted to the Eagles. And he has been to this stage before. He suffered a loss. Now he's back for revenge. me and Ballard are going to preview and predict this game. So, Ballard, go ahead and give us the stats and everything like that, and lay out the red carpet for us, and then we'll make our picks.
Yeah, so the Philadelphia Eagles are looking to stop the Kansas City Chiefs three-peat hopes and dreams. The spread is out on ESPN Bet, -1 in favor of Kansas City. Again, don't blame them. But the matchup predictor actually favors the Eagles at 56%. This game is in New Orleans at Caesars Superdome, Mercedes-Benz Superdome, or whatever it's called these days. The injury reports are out. There's a lot of guys that are injured reserve or out for these teams. Nick Gates, the center, is questionable, but at the same time, that's not going to matter for Philadelphia. They got their center. This is a big deal because Kansas City, as cool as it would be for me personally to see a team like three-peat, because I've never seen that. We haven't seen it. It would be cool to see, but my God, Jalen Hurts, come on, man. Come on, man. You got to get this done. Super Bowl licks. Super Bowl 59. LIX licks. Okay. Now, for the Eagles, what they have in talent is almost unmatched. Hurts in the postseason has rushed for 505 yards, given the ball to Saquon Barkley quite a few times, 66 to be exact, for 442 yards. Their lead receiver so far in these playoffs is Dallas Goedert at tight end with 188. On the defensive side for the Eagles, Zach Bond leads the way in tackles at linebacker. And this is a Philadelphia defense, as you know, that has some of your guys, Mayhem, with Jordan Davis. And help me out with some of these guys, like who? Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter. They have quite a few studs on there. I think Keely Ringo. They got guys. But throughout the postseason, Zach Bond, a veteran, has been the go-to linebacker at 26 tackles, and Quinyon Mitchell, one of the rookies from Toledo, has 2 picks so far in this postseason. And I think that's going to play a key factor. Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay. I could go down the list, man. Just so much talent. Nolan Smith has led in sacks at 4. So, and they've had 10 sacks this postseason. And I feel like the Eagles' defense is getting better and better each week. I feel like, especially though, you give them this week off. We had the Pro Bowl games, whatever that is. And you give them a week to rest up and prepare. I don't see why you don't pick Philadelphia. I get the Chiefs, and we just got done talking about them. But dude, I didn't really come up with much of a score prediction. I do like Philadelphia in this game. I just do. And, it's interesting what's at stake. First thing to know, by the way, not to get too political, but President Donald Trump is planning to attend the game, which is a very historic moment because in no point in time, no sitting president, no current president has ever attended the Super Bowl. What's at stake? The Chiefs, obviously, as we mentioned, they eyed their first ever three-peat in history. Last year, they repeated for the first time in franchise history. They were the first team to go back-to-back since the 03 and 04 Patriots with Tom Brady. Per ESPN with the Eagles since, and this is from Aaron Schatz, since week 6, when rookie slot corner Cooper DeJean was inserted into the starting lineup, the Eagles have allowed a league low or league best 5.2 yards per attempt passing and 171.9 passing yards per game. On the other side for Matt Bowen and the Chiefs, Matt Bowen, NFL analyst, Mahomes' success is in critical moments of a game. Plus, his ability to create on scrambles gives the Chiefs a defensive advantage at quarterback. His league best QBR on third down in the regular season at 90 jumped to 98 in the playoffs. So, obviously, there's X factors there's certain situations for these teams in this game. What I'm going to say, the key for the Eagles is going to be the tush push at the goal line, which has been proven unstoppable, and the Barkley run game. Now, Jalen still needs to throw and give it to Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and company, but the run game has been pretty effective. And that offensive line has seemed to get better and better each week, even without Jason Kelsey, who retired last year or year before. He, he's out of it. His brother's doing big things with the Chiefs, obviously, Travis, but I think the receivers are going to help out quite a bit more than you think. I think it's cool that they always give it to Barkley and that you're saving talented guys like Goddard and Devontae Smith. I think that the Eagles have a lot of offensive weapons and talent, and I think that their defense is underrated going into this Super Bowl matchup against what they could do to Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs. That being said, the key for the Chiefs, Mahomes' magic run game plus Travis Kelsey. The secondary has to eye Devontae Smith. There are no interceptions on defense. For Kansas City in the postseason. They have 13 overall on the year in total. No pick sixes, 102 yards on those 13 interceptions this year for the Chiefs defense. That being said, Ballard's prediction, very close game, Mayhem. I didn't make a banner for it, but I'm going to throw a score out there at you anyway. I'm going to say really, really close. The spread's like 1 point, 1.5 or whatever it is. I'm going to say the Eagles get it done, stop the three-peat, and I'm going to say they win 30-28 with a defensive stop.
All right, for sure.
I trust them.
So I'm going to give you my X factors for both teams, and then I'm going to give you my prediction. So obviously the X factor, let's start out with the Eagles, okay? The X factor is the biggest X factor is their defense. And can the defense force some turnovers, get a 1 or 2 turnovers in this game to give momentum on their side? And can they, get the momentum, get some turnovers on defense? That's number one. You're going to have to also put Patrick Mahomes in situations where he's not comfortable. You're going to have to get him out of his comfort zone, because we all know, we just talked about it, one of the greatest to ever do it at the quarterback position. You're going to have to get him uncomfortable, right? When we look at the only team to beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, the Patriots, they had a really great defense. They were able to force Patrick Mahomes into some uncomfortable situations, get some stops.
Hold on. Correct you. The Buccaneers beat, not the Patriots, but the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl beat Mahomes. But
yeah.
Continue.
Buccaneers, my bad, sorry. But they still had a really
Tom Brady, though.
They still had a really great defense that year. They were able to force Patty Mahomes into some uncomfortable situations. Even going back to the Patriots in the AFC Championship, whenever they successfully defeated Patty Mahomes in the AFC Championship, got them into some uncomfortable situations. You gotta force some errors, and I do think the Eagles have the defense to do that. On offense, the X factor for Eagles offense is Saquon Barkley. It is. You got to be able to run through the Chiefs defense, and that's going to be a tall task to ask if you're Saquon Barkley. And also it's going to be Jalen Hurts. The other X factor for this game is Jalen Hurts, because if this Eagles defense, that defensive line is extremely talented, it's elite. if he's not able to run right through this Chiefs defense or get around them somehow, Jalen Hurts is going to have to step up, going to have to make some plays. He's going to have to throw the ball, and he's going to have to, rely on his playmakers, and he's going to have to, he's going to have to play really well. He's going to have to elevate his talent. He's going to have to elevate it to a very high level like Josh Allen did. I mean, Josh Allen played almost a perfect game of football versus the Chiefs and still came up short. So, that's a big X factor. Jalen Hurts is a huge X factor. Jalen Hurts has one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the NFL with the Eagles. So he's going to have a lot of protection around him. Is he going to be able to make the plays, get the ball to his playmakers, score touchdowns, stuff like that? Or are they going to be too reliant on a Saquon Barkley to make plays for them? That's going to be the biggest X factor. Also, another, I guess you could say not an X factor, but just, another factor that will play in this game is the offensive coordinator. Is because, you're going to have to dial up some plays that the Chiefs defense hasn't seen from you. You're going to have to pull the hat out of the bat, the rabbit out of the hat. You're going to have to come up with some tricks. You're going to have to do something to get the Chiefs defense thrown off. As far as, so I just said Eagles defense is a huge X factor. The whole entire defense is going to have to force some errors on Patty Mahomes. Eagles offense, I just named a couple of X factors there. Let's go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs' biggest X factor on the offense is Patrick Mahomes himself. If Patrick Mahomes rolls out there and does what Patrick Mahomes does, that is going to be, they're going to be okay offensively. They also got a ton of talent around them as well. They got a pretty good offensive line too. One of the best tight ends, Travis Kelce, in the NFL. They also got that rookie wide receiver. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. He went to Texas last year. He played for Texas last year. He's doing some great things as well. They've got a lot of talent on that team. Another X factor is if Patrick Mahomes needs to rely on somebody, can they get the run game started, right? That's going to be an X factor for that offense as well. Defensively for the Kansas City Chiefs is, can we see another great performance by Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs? He absolutely dialed up a clinic on the Bills. And, I give credit to him, and obviously I give credit to all of the whole Chiefs defense, right? But they're going to have to do great up front on the defensive line. That's a big X factor because Saquon Barkley loves to run. He can run up the middle. He can run to the side. He can run anywhere he wants to. So they're going to have to stop him. And can Steve Spag dial up the plays in order to stop him? Can they pretty much control the lines of scrimmage, and can they control the Eagles offense and put them in a position where they can't really do anything or score any points? So like I said, I think the Chiefs has one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're here. Defense wins championships. So with that being said, I do got a score prediction very close to yours. You said 30-28. I'm saying 31-28, but I'm going with the Chiefs to win this. The last time they met up in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs won 38-35. I don't think it will be that high scoring because we do got two great elite defenses clashing up against each other. I do think whoever scores 31st will win the game, and I cannot put my trust in the Eagles to win this game with Jalen Hurts. I just can't. If right now the game decider is going to be Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, who do I trust more to win a game for you? Patrick Mahomes has been here before, so I want to pick the Eagles because most of the defense is George guys, like you had said before, but I would love to pull for the Philadelphia Dogs. I am going to be pulling for them to win. I think the Jalen Hurts story, I like Jalen Hurts. I have nothing against him. He is an Oklahoma quarterback, so I don't have nothing against him.
Wait, say that again. What?
I said I have nothing against Jalen Hurts. He's a former Oklahoma Sooners quarterback, and yeah.
It's not how you start; it's how you finish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, literally, he had a presser. He had a presser this year where someone said something about Oklahoma, and he's wearing his Bama shirt. He's like, "Yeah, I went to Alabama too,"
Yeah, so former Oklahoma Sooners quarterback Jalen Hurts.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay. Has a chance to get his revenge from a couple years ago. I don't know if even the great Nick Saban couldn't trust him against Georgia. Had to make a quarterback change there. But,
The first time.
The first time.
The first time, yeah.
The second time, he did come back in and won the SEC championship game. But, I don't know, man. If all you got to offer really is the tush push, we joke about that, and Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts is going to have a lot of pressure, man, and I just really do believe in the Chiefs' defense. The defense is the real deal, one of the best in the NFL. And if I had to choose which offense I'm going to trust more to move the ball down the field, obviously I got to go with the Chiefs here. Obviously, I think it's obvious. The Bills have one of the best offenses. So did Lamar Jackson and company, right? They weren't able to get it done. They weren't able to make it to the Super Bowl. The Bills lost to the Chiefs, and it had nothing to do with it really had nothing to do with Josh Allen's performance. It's just that the Chiefs are just so good, man. They're on a dominant run right now, and maybe next year the run will be over, but right now I think it's just getting started. They're taking it one game at a time. They're 0-0 right now. They're playing a one-game season, and they're going after that three-peat. Now, it's extremely hard to do it, and, we've seen some GOATs like Tom Brady lose to Eagles before, and with Nick Foles and stuff like we talked about, but I don't know, man. If you would have asked me way back then who was going to win, Patriots or the Eagles, whenever Nick Foles won, I probably would have said Tom Brady and the Patriots. But
yeah,
if I had to bet my house on this, or if I had to bet money on this, I'm not a gambling man, but if I was to bet you right now, bro, I cannot confidently say I'm betting my money on the Eagles. Defense wins championships. Chiefs had the better defense. It's close, but they do have better defense. And then offensively, who do I see getting more points? And you got to go with the most experienced. And
That's
is
true.
Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs. 31-28. We're going to see, once again, Jalen Hurts, former Oklahoma Sooners quarterback, looking up at the scoreboard. Disgusted at what
We'll see, man. Only one of us will come out on top, but I'm sure it's going to be a very good game. Either way, I think history will be made.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, any other final words before we get out of here, man? Because I am getting tired.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I do got some final words. I cannot wait to watch the Super Bowl. I cannot wait to see Patrick Mahomes in that Kansas City defense go up against the Philadelphia Dogs, the defense full of Georgia Bulldogs, and an offense with Saquon Barkley, Penn State guy, and former Oklahoma quarterback Jalen Hurts.
That's Alabama, but okay. Man, let's get out of here, Mayhem. It's been a long one. It's been a good one, though. I'm excited. But again, we disagree here on our picks for the Super Bowl, but it's all love, nothing but respect, and may the better team come out on top Sunday. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. God bless, and we'll see you next time here on the Touchdown Show. Peace.
From his family. Was out on the field pretty much the whole entire first half.
Got a lot of great games. I'm highlighting 2 SEC games.